Right, good evening, everybody. Hopefully you can see the screen today. And if you all can, we will start. Can someone just give me a thumbs up to say you can see and hear me? Perfect, great. So good evening, welcome to this webinar. So this is Green Pathways and Apprenticeships for Careers for the Future. So my name's Nina. I head up sustainability here across the Eastern Education Group. Tonight we're being joined by some really fantastic speakers to find out a bit more about opportunities and progression into green careers. So at this point, I'd like to make you all aware we are going to be recording this webinar. So the recording has started already, and this is to allow us to share the content with people that weren't able to attend tonight. On the screen, you'll see the jam-packed agenda that we've got. So we're going to start off with a bit of an overview about green careers. Then we're going to move on to explain what apprenticeships are and hear a bit from our apprenticeship team, as well as our current apprentices and an employer. Then we'll move over to share some advice from our careers team on how to access green careers, information and advice. And finally, we will hear from a recruiter in the in the environmental and sustainability government space and the importance of professional qualifications. So as you've heard, we've got lots of fantastic information to share. So we just make sure that obviously all our speakers can keep to their allocated time so that we can hear from everybody. So if you've got any questions throughout the session today, please feel free to use the chat function, add them in there, and we'll cover as many of your questions off at the end of the session. So I will now pass over to our first speaker. Now, Richard did have a few technical issues earlier, so I'm just going to quickly check that Richard is in. If Becky, you can just give me a thumbs up or not. Okay, right, we're going to start off our first speaker with Joey, who is our employer engagement lead at Eastern Education Group, and he's going to share a bit of insight into apprentices and how they work.
Yes, good evening, everybody. I'm doing the scary thing of sharing my screen, hoping that you will be able to see that. Has that come through just yet? Yeah, cool. Yeah, so good evening, everyone. Thanks for the introduction, Nina. As Nina said, I'm here today to talk to you about apprenticeships, everything involved with apprenticeships, and everything that goes with it. So we are the Eastern Education Group. As you all know, we have a number of different kind of quartets within our group. Our apprenticeships are delivered at the moment out of West Suffolk College. So although if your students have won and Navigate, etc., you're still able to get access to this, all of the apprenticeships we deliver are delivered out of West Suffolk College. Now, what is an apprenticeship? An apprenticeship is a number of different things, but I've broken it down for you into kind of 6 simple steps. Essentially, an apprenticeship is a job with formal training, and as you'll see on the screen, 6 hours per week. Typically, an apprentice will spend 1 day of their week in college or set aside doing their apprenticeship work. The rest of the week, they'll be out working with their employer. Now, that does vary in terms of what apprenticeship you'll do, and I'll explain kind of the options that we have in a moment. But typically, you'll be 1 day a week, you'll be doing your learning. The rest of the week, you'll be out working. So if you are that kind of individual that would prefer to get out there, get your hands dirty, start making things and doing things and getting into the world of work while still learning and gaining a qualification at the same time, an apprenticeship could be for you. Now, there's a little bit of a stigma. There used to be that apprentices would only come in and make a nice cup of tea or a nice cup of coffee. That is not the case anymore. By doing an apprenticeship, you have to, and we have to, make sure we develop and you gain new knowledge and skills. And at the end of this, you obtain nationally recognised qualifications. The biggest, and I think the best bit, is apprenticeships are government funded, so there is 0 cost for you as the apprentice. The good news is, it's the complete opposite, you get paid to do it. So if you like money, then an apprenticeship could also be for you. Now, the $1 million question. I wish it was $1 million. It's not. What is the pay? Currently, of April last year, 2025, it is £7.55 per hour. Now, you'll obviously know we're in January at the moment, so the next April is coming. We're not sure of the exact figure just yet, but we imagine this is going to be anywhere just above kind of £8. So to put that and to equate that to a kind of normal working week, you'd be looking at around about £1,100 £200 a month whilst you are still studying towards something that you want to do and learning your trade. So, you know, that figure is going up year on year. I don't think that's a bad figure, but it's really and labeling you to earn money. Earn and learn is the biggest thing. Earn money whilst you're learning your trade, your business admin, your HR, whatever that might be. And I'll explain what kind of things are on offer to you in a moment. Now, to do an apprenticeship, you will obviously need to find an employer to take you on to do the apprenticeship with. We can help you with that. And at the Eastern Education Group, we have a plethora of different employers who are looking for people like you. Some things you should know is over 200,000 employers took on an apprentice 2 years ago. So there is employers out there. And again, don't think, oh God, how am I going to find this? And that's what we're here to do. We can help you through that process. I've mentioned the minimum pay. The actual average pay is just under £11. So although the minimum £7.55, we are finding employers are paying more. So it actually may be that you're earning a little bit more than the minimum wage by doing your apprenticeship. Just a little bit about us, and again, obviously I know we're sticking to the 5 minutes, so I just want to give you a whistle-stop tour today. We are the largest provider of apprenticeships within the region, within the Eastern region. We have over 2,000 apprentices currently enrolled with us. We support, as I've mentioned, as you can see there, over 1,000 employers nationwide, so we can help you with tying you in with an employer. We have lots of applicants. We have a team of over 90 staff as well that are there to help. Now, not to do the weather or anything like that, but this is the current geographical kind of area of which we support. So as you will see, Eastern Education Group is East Anglia is cloudy with a chance of apprenticeships, but we also do go up to the north end of the country, right down to Plymouth. We do a little bit in Wales as well. So wherever you are and wherever you want to be in the country, there's a good chance Eastern Education Group can help you. And we have a wide range of apprenticeships to be able to do so. Now, I'll just leave this on the screen for a couple more seconds. These are just some of the apprenticeships we do. I think my other colleagues will kind of link in how they link into kind of green-based apprenticeships, but you've got anything here from accounting to bricklaying to customer service to electrical to laboratory stuff to motor vehicle. Whatever your dream job is, whatever you want to go into, 9 times out of 10, there's an apprenticeship that allows you to at least start and build yourself up to what you want to be, or go straight in and make a living in that. So we've got a wide range of apprenticeships here. We'll send you the slides or anything you need afterwards. All of this is available on our website. So anything you need, you can go on there and you can book a meeting or a call in with our friendly apprenticeship team that can help you out. Now, just some of the employers we work with as well. We've got massive companies like the NHS, Bloor Homes, Bannatyne Flagship. We've got massive football clubs like Ipswich Town, of course, that we work with, the Council, Anglian Water, Taylor Wimpey. So just MSC, just some of the employers we can link you in with. And don't think you can't go and work for a big company, because you certainly can. So just to recap, to find an apprenticeship, the first thing you've got to do is find the opportunity. We can help you with that. Probably today, most of you might be at 1 and 2. That's fine. That's okay. So next step would be to just book in a call or meeting with us. We help you apply the role. We get you interview ready. You go and smash the interview, and away you go. So what I want to reiterate today is, if you are thinking about doing an apprenticeship, go onto our website, get in touch with us, and we will be more than willing to help you out. That is all from me. Very whistle-stop tour, but those are our details on the screen. This inbox is manned by myself 5 days a week. Send us over any information you need, and we'd be more than happy to help you. Thank you very much.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much, Joey. Really informative. We'll share all these details with everyone at the end as well. So if anyone's got any, didn't have a chance to write any of that down, we'll share that with you. So next up, we have Richard Carter, who will be setting the scene about green careers in general. So just to introduce you, Richard is a trustee at the Norfolk Wildlife Trust. He's also a lecturer here at Eastern Education Group in Finance and Sustainability, as well as a former non-exec director and chair at ISEP, which is the Institute of Sustainability and Environmental Professionals. So Richard, I will pass over to you.
Thank you very much. And I've just shared my screen as well, so I think that should be appearing now. As Nina says, I used to be the chair at the Institute of Sustainability and Environmental Professionals until fairly recently. And so what that means is I'm seeing firsthand what's happening in the industry. So what's the story? Well, despite some fairly high-profile right-wing media, businesses are really concerned about what's happening in the environment, and they recognise that the world is changing. We're seeing those physical changes in terms of increased temperatures, higher sea levels, difficulties growing food, spread of disease, more migration, and so on and so forth. And so what this means, of course, is that the economy is changing as well. We can't rely on politically unstable fossil fuels that are increasing in price. And we know that we need nature to clean our air, clean our water, provide for crops to be grown. Indeed, everything that we use in any part of the economy originally begins with a natural resource. So businesses are concerned, and it's not just me saying this, it's not just the environmental press saying this. The World Economic Forum published their risk register just a few days ago. Here's an extract from it. And you can see that half of those top 10 risks worrying businesses are environmental. So these are long-term risks. This is the 10-year horizon. And the number one concern is extreme weather events. We've all experienced those. Biodiversity loss, ecosystem collapse, critical change to Earth systems, and then natural resource shortages and pollution. Businesses are not just saying that they're worried about these, but 92% of people responding to the survey, these are business leaders, are rating the risk of a global catastrophe as being moderate or above. So they're not just saying they're slightly worried, they're deeply concerned by this. And they're not just concerned, they're taking action. So climate change is ranked as number 3 in terms of what are the job trends that are being truly transformative at the moment. Adapting to climate change, so responding to those increased temperatures, responding to the increased risk of flood, responding to food shortages and increasing prices, is 6th, and that's going to rapidly ascend that list. Look at that, getting on for half of employers are expecting these things to transform their business in the next 5 years. Government are expecting 2 million green jobs by 2030, and we're seeing this happen. Number of green job adverts has doubled since 2021, so in just a few years there. And in our region, in the southeast, we're seeing the demand for green skills nearly doubled in that same time frame. So I guess that raises the question, well, what are these two terms that I've just used here? You're going to see these two terms, green jobs and green skills, come back several times over the course of the evening. So it's important we set these out in terms of setting the scene for what's coming up. When we talk about green jobs, we're referring to the hands-on professionals that are physically transforming our economy and the world. We're talking about welders, plumbers, electricians, solar panel installers, and ecologists and surveyors. So they're physically doing the work that we need to transform the economy. But it's not just green jobs that are in very high demand. Every role, every profession is seeing a need for green skills now. So this is the knowledge, the behaviour, the understanding of our planetary limits and the impacts of what we're doing to disrupt those. Now, the accountants are seeing the increasing costs of resources. They're seeing businesses struggling and failing. Marketing managers need to communicate sensitively and with an understanding. HR professionals need to recruit Doctors, medical professionals are seeing the impacts of increased air pollution, increased water pollution, the spread of disease. So not only do we need people specialising in these green jobs, but we need green skills. We need an understanding and an awareness at all levels of a profession and in all different industry segments. That's what you're going to hear about over the course of the evening. So I'm going to hand back to Nina now with that sort of offered to you as context, and then I'll try and wrap things up at the end, talking a little bit more about the place of professional qualifications in this.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much, Richard. That's a really clear message that you've given there. So next up we have Mara Delaney, who is one of our apprenticeship tutors here at Eastern Education Group. And Mara will be focusing on green skills in apprenticeships qualifications. I'll pass over to you, Mara.
Hello, hello everybody. My name is Mara Delaney. As Nina said, I am one of the apprenticeship tutors in the apprenticeship team, specifically in the business management and professional team. So tonight I'm going to show you how some of our apprenticeships can lead to real careers, real pay, and have real impact on the environment. We'll be focusing a lot on green skills, but also showing you the pathways to some of those green jobs that Richard was just talking about. I've also got with me today a couple of current and former apprentices, and we also have a message from a former apprentice who is now an employer supporting other apprentices. So hopefully we can give you some of that lived experience of what this means. So what is a green apprenticeship? So the UK government classifies a growing number of apprenticeships as supporting the green economy. And as if by magic and that we planned it, Richard's last slide with the big dark green job and then the lighter green skills corresponds on the government website. So if you're on Skills England looking up different apprenticeships or T-levels, you'll see some are categorised as the dark green for specifically green jobs and green qualifications, and others have the light green leaf for green skills. There's a couple of specific apprenticeships that I'm going to talk about today that incorporate the green skills, but I'm also going to talk to you about how we embed that within all of our apprenticeships, not just these particular green apprenticeships. But as Richard said, the green economy is estimated to support millions of jobs over the next decade as we move to net zero. So all those green apprenticeships on the Skills England website have that little green leaf icon that you can see on my slide. And as Joey said earlier, by doing an apprenticeship, you're earning a wage while gaining a qualification, you're getting that real workplace experience, and you're developing those green skills that help the planet as well as your organisation, and leading to these strong future career pathways with the skills that future employers are looking for. So across all of our apprenticeships and all of our apprenticeship areas, so I specifically work in business management and professional. However, we also have engineering, construction, health and beauty, healthcare, education, and probably more that I don't even know, because there's a lot of them. But we actually embed sustainability in all of them. So we offer carbon literacy accreditation for all of our apprentices, which is understanding climate change and your carbon footprint. We look at embedding some of those green skills, reducing environmental footprints in our workplaces, looking at ethical and responsible decision making, inclusive leadership and teamwork. And we also, in all areas, have industry guest speakers coming in to talk about sustainability and some of those key sustainability skills and green skills in those areas. I can't give you specific examples of construction other than I know there was one around bricks and a new type of brick, and there was one around like roofing maybe and insulation. But I'm going to tell you what we've been doing in business management. So I think what I just want to put across to you is where Richard was talking about those green jobs and the green skills. You don't have to go into a green job to develop those green skills. And ultimately what we're working towards is understanding how work affects your planet and what you can do in any job role to help contribute to environmental sustainability. So linking back to Joey talking about where we have apprentices, I've kind of gone on a different tact. So looking at business and management, where do our apprentices work? And it's across all sectors, basically. We've got NHS, local government, manufacturing, engineering, education, retail, finance, logistics, construction, charities, hospitality, IT and digital, and more that I can't even fit on the slide. And just some key employers on there that I specifically have worked with. So essentially business management apprenticeships, and I'll come on to some of the ones we have on offer, can be transferable across any industry, and sometimes they're a really good way of getting your foot in the door to then be able to move onwards and upwards in whatever industry you might be interested in. So it might be you're interested in aviation, for example. Well, we need business administrators and customer service and project managers, team leaders in aerospace, so we can help you get your foot in the door through that method. And all of these will be incorporating green skills. So in our delivery offer with West Suffolk Council, I've listed here our level 2, 3 and 4 offerings. I think this is all of them. Apologies if I've missed any. So I've just tried to categorize them into people in business, projects and buildings and finance. So looking at level 2, level 3 are your entry level. So coming in at sort of GCSE A level equivalents, and then moving onwards and upwards into level 4, where you're starting to look at those higher level qualifications, where the equivalent of a level 4 would be the first year of an undergraduate degree. And the beauty about apprenticeships is that you can have as many as you like. You can only do one at a time, but you can do many of them. And they have like steps. So you can do a level 2, then you can move on to a level 3, then you can move on to a level 4, 5 and 6. The apprenticeships that I'm specifically going to talk to you about today, because I'm heavily involved in them and I deliver on them, will be the Improvement Technician level 3, Improvement Practitioner level 4, which are accredited as green apprenticeships. The Associate Project Manager. We also have Facilities Management, Procurement and Team Leading. So just a reminder from the last slide, like across all areas, we do underpin all of these with our carbon literacy and sustainability training. For most of them, we also get them to do a work-based improvement project, which will have a sustainability focus. So every apprentice in the business and management with West Suffolk College will be doing a project within their workplace that is going to contribute in some way towards sustainability initiatives. And it could be something really small, looking at digitization of a manual form, to something bigger, looking at increasing biodiversity around the site. And I'll come on to some examples of projects that students have done in a moment. So I want to talk specifically about the improvement apprenticeships. So these are green apprenticeships, which is the heart of our green skills offer. And if you've never heard of this before, you will not be alone, which is why I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. So thinking around business management, project management, this kind of incorporates all of those a little bit, but the idea is it's focused on problem solving. It's looking at so thinking about level 3 for our technicians, they're identifying problems in the workplace and they're looking to help to collect, analyze that data to reduce waste, energy use, errors. they're helping to improve quality, safety and efficiency, and they're going to be delivering small practical sustainability improvements. So level 3 might be something that you do either after you finish your GCSEs or your A-levels, and you come in, you don't know anything about this, so you're starting at level 3. It could be that maybe you've already done a business administration, so you've already covered maybe a bit of the theories that are covered. So in which case, actually, it'd be better for you to progress upwards onto the level 4, provided your employer can provide the right opportunities for you to also develop some of those leadership skills. Equally, you can move from the level 3 upwards onto the level 4 once you've completed it. So the difference between the 3 and the 4 is essentially leadership, is getting that extra responsibility. The size of the project starts to improve and increase. And essentially with these qualifications, you're looking to help the business become more efficient. You are redesigning their processes, you're helping them reduce their carbon emissions, you're improving supply chains, making the buildings more energy efficient. It might be that you're looking at reducing their waste, looking at alternative packaging. So one of my students provided alternative reduced packaging with Tesco's, because he worked in a food factory and identified that they could basically make the packaging smaller and with more sustainable materials. So instead of using like plastic on top, it was like a starchy, looks like plastic but isn't, it's biodegradable, and that's in use in your supermarkets and you don't even know it. And that was one of my students. So these can lead on to green careers, and I'll come on to what they look like in a minute. But it might be that, you know, one level is appropriate for you and then you want to move on to the other one, or maybe you've already done a level 3, maybe you did an A-level in environmental science, and so therefore you know a little bit about this, and maybe the level 4 will be better. And we can support that. And it's about getting those opportunities to really grow and develop and learning all of these different skills. So what's really exciting also about these apprenticeships is that, like the other ones I talked about earlier in business and admin, all the students have to do a work-based improvement project. This also forms part of their final endpoint assessment, which means that you've got something quantifiable that you can talk about, that you can put on your CV, and you've also provided the company with a bit more value for money, as well as raising your own profile and having pride in the impact that you've had. So what's been really exciting since I joined West Suffolk and College and started delivering on these is that the majority of fixed term apprentices that I have worked with have been able to secure full-time roles at the end of their apprenticeship, and 60% have obtained promotions either within their existing employer or elsewhere, either on programme or sort of just after, which is absolutely phenomenal in a relatively short space of time. We're talking around about 18 months, that the growth and the skills that you learn are invaluable. So some of the icons on there, some of you might be familiar if you've ever learned anything about business and management, but these are some of the methodologies and the tools that you learn on these particular apprenticeships. So they all basically link into identifying and eliminating waste and defects and variations in the organisation. So I just want to give you some examples of some of the real projects that have been completed by my apprentices. These were not classroom exercises. They've all completed these in their workplace, planned and implemented, and then delivered as part of their endpoint assessment. So we have I have quite a few students in the NHS and various hospitals and ICBs and doctors' practices. And one of them was, she was actually working in facilities management, but she was doing this qualification. And she identified how they could reduce energy use in across the buildings on their estate. Somebody else looked at cutting material waste and costs in manufacturing. So he started again as an apprentice. By the time he finished his qualification, he was the continuous improvement manager. He also, as part of his apprenticeship, didn't just identify how they could reduce the amount of material used in their products and the amount of waste, but signed their organization up to work towards ISO 14001, which is the international standard of environmental sustainability, helping the organization see the benefits of that, and helping them to identify that, much like Richard was saying earlier, how organizations, this is a really big deal. Some organizations don't realize that yet, and they lose business as a result of it. So that was really exciting. So it was big sustainability gains there. Had several students looking at improving recycling in local councils and businesses, including in the waste management area, looking at digital systems, reducing paper use. This is a very common example, and one of my students today will be talking hopefully about big projects she did with our local council. Improving and standardizing digital systems with use of one file, it shouldn't be one file, that should be OneDrive and SharePoint to reduce digital footprint. So I had a student whose whole project was looking at reducing all of the unnecessary duplicate files and folders and reducing that digital footprint down for her department. Something like, I can't remember what it was, but it was hundreds and hundreds of gigabytes or something. It was a lot. And it was literally slowing down their system. And so she was able to do that. Creating hedgehog-friendly campus sites, which Nina was overseeing for EEG. Sustainable procurement, replacing petrol and diesel fleet cars with EV cars, and this was back in 2021. So when EV was still building momentum. Looking at the rollout of EV charging points across Cambridge City. So Cambridge City Council, one of my students in project management, started supporting and eventually was leading on the project to plan and implement and install all of the on-street EV charging points. Reducing packaging and more sustainable packaging materials. I gave you an example of one of my students who did that earlier. Reducing travel and carbon footprint of crew members. So this was I've got a student who works in shipping with wind farms out in South Pacific or something, really far away, and she has to man the crews on the ships from all around the world. And so they have to, there's lots of flights involved, lots of cars and trains to get them to where they need to be. And through her project, not only did she significantly reduce their carbon footprint, which I wish I had the number on there, but she was able to save £1.6 million a year in financial savings in travel expenses, which was absolutely phenomenal and not something that we expected to see when we started out just trying to reduce the carbon footprint a little bit. And then the final one I've got on there is use of local suppliers to reduce transport costs and carbon footprint. So lots of real world examples there that have all been completed by students. My job is to make sure that the employers provide you with the opportunity to do this. You'll still have the support of your managers in these jobs. You might be looking at increasing biodiversity on site, looking at turning your kitchen into, or canteen into, local produce only or vegan only or something. All basically, the sky's the limit. Any project that's even a little bit green, we will pounce on and help you. And as I mentioned before, the opportunity for you to apply your learning, gain those real project management skills and use these projects on your CV and be able to talk about them, provides you with that extra, value on your CV that's going to put you one step ahead of somebody else when you go for that next job. But also the value to the employer of these projects cannot be undersold, but also just note that this is not just big companies. Some of these are really small companies. It might be there's only 2 or 3 people in their little business. That doesn't mean they can't have an apprentice, and it doesn't mean you can't have an impact. So the size of the business doesn't matter. As long as it's a business, you can have an apprentice. And Joey's team are there to help talk through what that might look like. So it might be that you know of somebody, but there's only a couple of them. How can they take on an apprentice? Joey's team can tell you how. So
I'm going to have to interrupt you because we're going to need to move on in a moment. But is there anything else you just want to say for a final moment?
Just I mentioned about the education pathways. So you can kind of progress from level 2 all the way up to degree apprenticeships that we now offer, and also the pathway to university. And then very quickly, the future career paths in any industry. And we talked about those green jobs, the green jobs that come out of these particular apprenticeships I mentioned earlier. I've got them up on the screen there. So looking at sustainability officers, etc. And then additional skills that you might gain just by doing one of our apprenticeships. There, I'm done.
Amazing. That was so great. Thank you. Really, really great examples in there of just how much you can cover off in an apprenticeship and really make that difference and that impact. So thank you so much for that. Our next speaker is Helen Doherty. So Helen is a transformation and innovation business partner at South Norfolk and Broadland Council. Helen isn't actually able to make it here tonight, but she has really kindly pre-recorded her insights into green skills apprenticeships as both a former apprentice herself and as an employer who now has gone on to employ apprentices in her particular area of work. So Mara, I'm going to pass back to you just to share that recording with us, please.
Yep.
Hello, I'm Helen Doherty, Transformation and Innovation Business Partner in the One Team for Broadland and South Norfolk District Councils. Thank you for inviting me here to talk about green skills, green jobs in local government, and how apprenticeships open real careers that make a meaningful difference. Green skills are increasingly becoming vital in shaping sustainable communities and in building careers. Councils are not just service providers, they are key drivers of sustainability, embedding green principles into every part of their operations. From biodiversity projects to waste reduction strategies to long-term plans for achieving net zero emissions, councils play a core role in building resilience against climate change. For councils, green isn't a single job, it's a thread that runs through many services, improving council land, tackling waste and recycling contamination, protecting against flooding, our own emissions and keeping places clean and safe. These are commitments in our delivery plan. Things like improving council activities to achieve net zero emissions, improving biodiversity across council-owned sites, and delivering effective waste collection and recycling, and managing flood risks. Green skills underpin the ability of councils to deliver services that are environmentally responsible, economically efficient and socially equitable. Councils sit at the intersection of policy implementation and community engagement, making them absolutely pivotal in addressing climate challenges. This requires a workforce equipped with sustainable practices, regulatory understanding and innovative problem-solving skills. For example, achieving net zero emissions isn't one project. It depends on coordinated efforts across energy management, transport planning, and digital transformation. Similarly, enhancing biodiversity needs expertise in ecological planning and habitat restoration. Our Building Futures programme is a great example of how councils invest in local talent by offering grants to local businesses to support green jobs to deliver future skills such as low carbon heating technicians, tree surgeons and horticulturalists. We know green skills matter as global trends move rapidly towards decarbonisation and resource efficiency. That means these skills are highly marketable across many sectors. For individuals, developing green skills offers career security and progression as employers increasingly prioritise sustainability credentials. For communities, it brings cleaner environments, reduced energy costs and improved resilience to climate impacts. By fostering green skills, councils not only meet statutory obligations, they help lead cultural change towards sustainability. So green skills aren't niche, they are foundational to modern governance and service delivery, shaping everything from procurement policies to frontline operations. Some roles are obviously green, but the picture is broader. Here's what green careers really look like across our councils. On this slide, you can see 3 key roles that sit at the heart of clean growth and sustainability work. Each one plays a different part in helping councils deliver on its environmental commitments and move us closer to net zero. Here we're looking at roles that focus on environmental protection and building climate resilience across communities. These roles are absolutely essential in safeguarding things like public health, reducing risk, and preparing for impacts of changing climates. Looking at roles that focus on green infrastructure and biodiversity and the natural environment. These roles help protect and enhance our green spaces that make our districts healthier, more attractive and more resilient. And then here we're looking at the roles that focus on housing quality, sustainability and improving energy efficiency in people's homes. These roles directly support our residents' well-being, reduce emissions and help us move toward a fair transition towards net zero. Here we're looking at roles that support waste management, recycling and the wider circular economy. These teams play a crucial part in reducing waste, improving recycling rates and lowering emissions across the district. And then finally, we have a look at the roles that sit in the intersection of transport planning, digital innovation and smart place development. These roles help create efficient, sustainable and future-ready communities. As we've just seen across the last few slides, there is a huge range of green roles within the council. We've looked at environmental protection, climate resilience, biodiversity, housing, transport and circular economy. And what all these roles have in common is the need for people who can solve problems and improve processes and help services work more efficiently and sustainably. And that's where continuous improvement comes in. These skills behind lean problem solving, data and interpretation and service optimization are becoming essential foundations for public sector services, especially as we move towards net zero, smarter use of resources and more resilient service delivery. This is something I'm personally invested in. I completed the Level 4 Improvement Practitioner Apprenticeship, which gave me strong grounding in Lean Six Sigma and evidence-based decision making. These tools are now a core part of how I work in my role as a transformation and innovation business partner, and how I deliver improvements that are aligned with organisational goals. There is a strong emphasis on evidence-based decision making, ensuring that any interventions that are designed are not only effective but also sustainable. As part of the programme, apprentices complete an endpoint assessment, typically involving a project report and a professional discussion, to demonstrate both their technical capability and their behavioural competences. By applying these skills to initiatives such as resource optimisation or digital transformation, improvement practitioners can make a real contribution to reducing carbon footprints and strengthening service resilience. And this is where improvement work and sustainability come together. And importantly, this qualification also opens the door to leadership roles in transformation, change and sustainability. It's a strategic investment both for individuals looking to progress and for employers wanting to build internal capability and continuous improvement. Part of my role is supporting our internal cohort of Level 3 improvement technicians, what we call our change agent network. These colleagues are embedded across frontline services from waste to housing to customer services, and they apply continuous improvement techniques to real challenges in their teams. Their projects often deliver both environmental and operational benefits, reducing waste, improving workflows and supporting our wider sustainability ambitions. So the link between green roles and improvement apprenticeship is clear. Councils provide comprehensive support to help apprentices succeed, both academically and professionally. They support apprentices in several ways. First, apprentices are given protected time off the job training, alongside with structured mentoring to help them build skills and confidence. Regular one-to-one reviews with line managers provide feedback and keep development on track. Collaborative learning networks like our Change Agent Network offer peer support and help apprentices apply what they learn in real situations. Together, these elements create a strong, supportive environment that support the apprentices to grow and succeed. Apprenticeships act as a gateway to a wide range of career pathways, both in local government and far beyond it. Through the skills they develop, apprentices can progress into such roles as transformation officer, sustainability coordinator, or environmental project managers and more. These roles are opportunities to specialise in areas like digital innovation, climate adaptation and community engagement. And it's not only the public sector that values these skills. The demand for green and improvement focused skills is growing across all sectors, including construction, energy, consultancy, and many parts of the wider economy. That's it from me. I just wanted to say how valuable these sessions are for exploring different pathways and getting a feel for the opportunities that are out there. And since this is a pre-recorded presentation, I'm very glad we can still connect without me travelling anywhere. It's probably the greenest way to give a talk about green careers. Apprenticeships can open doors to so many roles, including those linked to sustainability, innovation and improving services for our communities. Whether you're a young person thinking about your next steps or a parent helping someone to navigate their choices, just take time to explore these options, and that's a really positive start. Thank you so much for watching.
That's brilliant, and some very wise words at the end there from Helen. So really interesting to hear firsthand about the importance that the council place on green skills, as well as the huge amount of roles that they have on offer in the council alone. So that's really informative. Next up, we would like to welcome Fraser Duke, who is a quality engineer at Siemens Healthineers, and he's going to give you some insight into his apprenticeship journey and how sustainability underpins his role. So I'll pass over to you, Fraser.
Hiya, I'm Fraser Duke. I'm a quality engineer at Siemens Healthineers in Sudbury, and I'm currently completing my Level 4 Improvement Practitioner Apprenticeship. I'm going to talk about how sustainability is built into my apprenticeship, the skills I've developed, and how I use these in my role to improve sustainability within Siemens, particularly in quality. So I started Siemens as a fixed-term quality apprentice. Through the Improvement Practitioner Level 4 programme, I gained structured training in lean, problem solving and data analysis alongside real workplace projects. I'm now a permanent full-time quality engineer, and I'm continuing with further qualifications and progression within Siemens. So who are Siemens and what do they do? Sustainability is a core to Siemens Healthineers strategy. The company aligns its work to the UN Sustainable Development Goals, particularly 3, good health and well-being, 5, gender equality, and 12, responsible consumption and production. Siemens has ambitious commitments, including a 9% reduction in Scope 1 and 2 emissions by 2030 and reducing Scope 3 emissions by 28% in 2030, with a pathway to 90% by 2050. Our site also sends no waste to landfill and operates under ISO 14001, an internationally recognised environmental management system. Sustainability isn't a bolt-on, it's embedded throughout the apprenticeship. We complete carbon literacy training and accreditation. so we understand climate impacts, carbon reporting, and how everyday decisions affect emissions. We also learn about key UK reporting requirements like SECR and ESOS, so we understand how large organisations must measure, report, and reduce energy use and carbon emissions. Crucially, our lean and continuous improvement training is directly linked to sustainability because reducing waste, defects, and inefficiency is both good for business and for the environment. A lot of our learning is through real workplace projects. One example was a 5S walk in our cold store, and we identified opportunities to reduce energy use, such as installing lighting that only activates when the door is opened, reducing how long the door is open by better organising materials, improving housekeeping to reduce time spent inside the cold environment. Another project focused on replacing disposable batteries with rechargeable ones. This reduced waste by around 240 batteries a year, saved money and encouraged more sustainable working habits across the team. So in my day-to-day role, I use a range of lean and continuous improvement tools, including value stream mapping, which is understanding every step in the process to identify waste processes, 5 whys and root cause analysis to understand why problems occur, Kaizen and Siemens internal 3I improvement system for staff-led improvements, structured problem solving, Gemba walks and 5S audits to see issues firsthand on the shop floor. These tools help improve quality, reduce defects, and minimize environmental waste. So in quality, sustainability is closely linked to reducing scrap, rework, and defects. Every time we prevent a defect, we save materials, energy, and time. I work closely with production teams, the Healthiness Performance System team, and Environmental Health and Safety team to ensure improvements consider both quality and environmental impact. This means sustainability is built into every decision making, not just special projects. For students interested in green careers, Siemens offers lots of routes, including quality engineering, environmental health and safety, sustainability and carbon, and facilities and energy management, continuous improvement and lean practitioner roles. Many of these roles blend technical skills, problem solving, and sustainability. Through the apprenticeship, I've developed strong problem solving and data analysis skills, practical Lean Six Sigma tools, carbon literacy, and environmental awareness, teamwork, communication, stakeholder engagement. The ability to lead real improvements that make a difference in the workplace. Green skills are essential for future careers. They're good for businesses, good for society, and vital for tackling climate change. Apprenticeships are a brilliant way to develop these skills because you get a hands-on experience, real responsibility, and a chance to make a tangible impact from day one. Thank you.
That's brilliant, Fraser. Thank you so much. It really sounds like you've made some incredible contributions to the business through all the different efficiency enhancements that you've made. So thanks so much for sharing that. So next up, we would like to welcome Lauren Robbins, who is a business analyst at Suffolk County Council. So Lauren's going to share some insights about her apprenticeship journey and how sustainability has been embedded.
Can everyone see the slides? So I was a bit nervous. Yeah, brilliant, thank you. So let's go into... So I am one of Mara's graduates. So I finished my apprenticeship in 2023. When I started work in the projects policy and performance team, which doesn't sound very green or sustainable, but it got me involved in a lot of different elements of projects and construction projects, and particularly liaison projects, where I worked with RAF Lakenheath and partners Kier on social value, and that got me a bit of interest into kind of green and sustainability initiatives. So it was how it was reported, And through that, I was asked if I would like to partake in the Improvement Practitioner Apprenticeship through work. I was hesitant at first, I'm going to be honest, because I was 40 at the time, and I was thinking, isn't apprentices for young people, but apprentices for people of all age, so, and at all stages of their career. So through doing my apprenticeship, I was able to partake in initiatives on the Change and Service Improvement Programme, which meant I got to be involved and use my skills I was learning in project management, change management, lean and continuous improvement. And from there, I was managed to get the role I'm in now, which is a business analyst role, and move across and upwards into a digital solutions team manager, where I essentially run a team that's focused on how we improve processes, looking at lots of analysis space. How do we find the root cause of a problem, and then work with teams to test and then implement solutions, and we work on a continuous basis. A corporate slide here, as you've heard from Helen's presentation earlier, is councils have a really wide remit, and when I started my apprenticeship, one of our goals was about supporting environmental objectives, and now, even with the new administration of councillors, we still have environmental resilience as one of our key areas. And I think what I would think initially is actually you wouldn't think of local government and sustainability as such, because it's such a wide remit. My project that I did, like a lot of Mara's other students, was around, we called it paperless, but it's around digitisation of processes. It was a corporate-wide project. It had two angles of approach. I'm going to be honest, it was a monetary angle as well as an environmental angle. And it was very much based on how much paper we used. So we started off with the data, which is what the improvement practitioner is about, getting that solid evidence, analysing the data that we had and thinking where is there opportunities for improvement. So desk-based analysis concluded that actually basic printing in consumables was a really good place to start. If we've got less devices, it's going to be less people looking to print, less energy used. So we articulated campaigns around think before you print, things like that. Print in black and white, not colour if you are printing. And as a result of working with services, we looked and saved £40,000 of money, but also really importantly, 50% reduction in our paper usage, and obviously linked to that, the energy usage on the side of it. How this feeds through now into my new role is actually I've continued to work with services and much more specifically. So our housing team, for example, used to drive out, print the forms off, drive out to visit a client, get the client to fill in the forms, drive back to the office, scan the documents in, and then save them. We've worked with them to see actually, A, do you need all the forms that you do use? B, we need to get you in a position pretty quickly where you're not driving out and then printing and scanning and then shredding the same document. So we worked on a big digitisation project to change their processes, going initially towards Adobe editable PDFs and then moving towards DocuSign. And this is now something that we're continuing to roll out across the organisation now with different teams. For the future, for me, I'm very, very fortunate that my apprenticeship has opened up doors for me that I would never have had otherwise, to be able to put into my project management skills and enhance those, to my people and leadership skills to now manage my own team, and to continue to be able to make a difference locally. I think if something interests you and a topic interests you, then really go for it, because what you will learn on the apprenticeship is that small things make a difference when they're added up. It's very much incremental. My role has obviously been very corporate wise in projects, but actually you look outside within the council remit, you've got opportunities in procurement and social value, within the property team regarding things like energy and sustainability. For example, we have a solar farm at West Suffolk Council. We have Rent a Roof, where we promote businesses and solar panels, and we also look at how we run our own buildings. We've always recycled things, tea bags, food waste, things like that. I know that's all coming out in a much bigger across Suffolk as time goes on, but you start there. We also have planning and regulatory services, where there are opportunities around conservation and biodiversity, as well as operations with waste and recycling. I think it's really key that in local government you can shape the future. As cheesy as that may sound, And I think it really is about doing things that interest you, and taking the apprenticeship is learning for life. Just because you do an apprenticeship while you're in one role, as Mara said previously, it can open the doors to so much more. And there's a lot of things out there. So even I think pretty much now we're moving towards a situation where I would say a good maybe 75% of roles have elements of sustainability. And if everyone does their bit, then it can add up. So that's it from me on there.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Lauren. That's really, really great to hear. And what a brilliant insight into your journey and all the brilliant examples that you've got of how apprenticeships and green skills can be really transferable across just that range of roles and industries and have a really, really positive impact on businesses. So that's brilliant. Thanks for sharing that. So it's been really great to hear about the range of apprenticeship opportunities out there. So we're now going to move away from apprenticeships and start to think more about careers in general. So I'm going to pass you over to Becky Herbert, who is our group careers coordinator here at Eastern Education Group, who's going to share some information about how you can access Green's careers information and advice.
Thank you, Nina. Good evening, everyone. My name is Becky, and as Nina said, I'm the careers coordinator at Eastern Education Group. If you've ever done any of our empowered events before, you probably would have come across me. So I just want to say a big thank you so far to everyone who's contributed. It's been really fantastic to hear a lot around this subject. Myself and our team of careers advisors work with students every day who are trying to answer some really big questions, particularly in this space. And these are typically, first of all, what should I do after college? What jobs will exist in 10 or 20 years? And how do I find something that pays well and actually matters? So tonight is all about green pathways. So I just want to spend just a couple of minutes on showing you how careers guidance can really help you turn those ideas into real options. So why do green careers matter? So what we've heard so far, when we talk about green careers, sometimes people just go straight to wind turbines and electric cars. And yes, those are a huge part of it. But green careers really mean any job that helps reduce carbon, protect the environment, or make businesses more sustainable, as we've heard. So that very much includes construction workers fitting insulation and heat pumps, engineers working on renewable energy, farmers using sustainable methods, electricians installing EV chargers, data analysts, as we've just heard, measuring energy use, planners designing eco-friendly towns, and even marketing teams can help these green businesses grow. So the UK government and employers are investing billions into this area. And going back to what Richard said right at the beginning, this means more jobs, it means more apprenticeships, and it often means better pay because those skills are in demand. So that's quite important to remember. And one of the myths that we kind of work hard to dispel, I mean, we are, as registered careers professionals, we are completely impartial. One of the myths that we do kind of work hard to debunk is that you don't have to go to university to get into green careers. And this is really important. And some green careers do need degrees, but many can start with apprenticeships, T-levels, and college courses. So, for example, a plumbing or electrical apprenticeship can lead into heat pumps, solar panels, and smart energy systems. Construction and building services are absolutely key to making homes greener. Engineering and manufacturing feed directly into those wind farms, and batteries and clean tech. And then you've got your digital and business skills as well. And they are needed in every green company. So these careers can absolutely be accessed by a university course, but also, and we're seeing more of this importantly, through apprenticeships. And they're not just fallback options anymore. They are some of the fastest growing career pathways in the UK. If you can move on to the next slide, Nina. Thank you. So how can students use careers advice? So if you are a student at EEG or you're looking to become a student at EEG, my advice is very simple. Don't just guess, don't just copy your friends, don't just rely on Google and TikTok. Come and talk to us. We really can help you in this area. What we do and how we do that is by comparing courses and apprenticeships, understanding what different jobs actually pay. Importantly, see where those jobs are growing locally and nationally. So we use updated labour market information in order to do that. And then we build a career pathway and a plan that fits you. So what we're trying to say is that green careers aren't just about saving the planet. They're all about building a future where you can get a job, pay your bills, have options, but obviously do something very meaningful as well. So when you come and have a chat to us and you have one-to-one guidance with us, what we do is all around helping you understand what you're good at, so what skills you have, and a lot of that is linked to what you enjoy. It's very important that we do something that we enjoy. What employers actually want and the kind of skills they're looking for is a big part of what we're helping you to consider. And what the job market is doing is very important as well. So within EEG, that's what we offer. So one-to-one careers appointments, different workshops on employability. So CV, how do you present your CV to employers, applications and interviews, and labour market information, which is all about that real data about where jobs are growing, what they pay and what qualifications you need. And we also have our empowered events as well. So those are employer-led events where we put you in front of the employer so you're able to speak to them and find out more about different groups into different companies. So it's important for parents to understand too, the careers advice that we're giving is very much based on evidence and that data, that labour market information. So even though we don't just say follow your passion, it's important to have a passion, and it's important to kind of listen to that and find out what you want to do that way. But what we're really keen to do is to show young people where these opportunities really are. So whether you want to be an engineer, a builder, a designer, a scientist, a business owner, or an apprentice in order to get to there's probably a green version of that job somewhere. And careers guidance is how you turn that idea into a real pathway. So if you are a student, come and find us. If you're a prospective student, you can still access that support. If you're a parent, please encourage your young person to use us. There are lots of resources that we can give to students, and we make sure that these are relevant and reliable and very much targeted at what they're looking for. So I'll leave you with this. The future is being built right now. Green Pathways is very much part of that, and we're really keen to see our students become a part of that too. So yeah, that's how you access career support at EEG. I'll pass you back to Nina. Thank you.
Brilliant, thank you, Becky. So next up, we'd like to welcome Jake Carrington, who is a sustainability staffing consultant at Eden Smith Group, and he is going to give us some insight into what recruiters are looking for within the green space.
Hi everyone, great to be here. Can everyone see my screen okay? Have I shared that correctly? Amazing. So I'm a former student at one college in Ipswich, and now a recruitment consultant specialising in sustainability. My angle getting into recruitment was that I really believe that people are the solution, and I see the mission of net zero as something that's really exciting and interesting, and there's a lot of opportunity there, and I believe that putting people in the right place at the right time is where we can have that innovation. I'm speaking to clients every single day and understanding where their skill gaps are, understanding how things are changing, and understanding what type of people and what skills they're looking for to achieve their goals and have the most impact that they can. So I want to share some insights from those client conversations. I'm also going to briefly talk about a few ways in which you can make sure you stand out to recruiters or hiring managers, which might be useful now or in the future. I'm currently working at Eden Smith. I joined them a couple of years ago to help them grow the green jobs part of the business. We're a consultancy that specialise in sustainability and data, and we build communities of data and sustainability leaders, and we're always asking them what challenges they're facing, what are their ambitions, and working out a way that people can be the solution for them. I think first things first, I wanted to quickly share some reasons why people might consider sustainability as an industry to be in, as jobs they might be looking for. Got a few statistics on the screen now, and what links all of these together is that this is how much of your life you're at work, and I think it's important to understand how much time you're investing into your work life, right? You know, no one wants to spend 50 years, a third of their life, 90,000 hours doing something that they don't care about, that doesn't make them excited, and so when you're making those decisions at the beginning of your career, I think important to understand that you want to find something that's important to you. For lots of people, key motivators might be salary, how flexible the working environment is, the location, advancement, really important for some people. But for a lot of people, they're keen to use the time they're at work to make a real difference. They want to be in a sector that's rewarding and have a real impact on the planet and our population. And that's a big driver for a lot of the people that I represent in the sustainability space. It's a great space to work in, and of course I'm absolutely biased and love working in that space, but in terms of the opportunity that exists there, the green jobs market is expected to grow 20% every year until 2030. So we need lots and lots more people to reach the goals we've got as a country and as a continent, and people are going to be the solution for that. So there's lots of opportunities coming out of the sustainability sector. 70 to 80% of companies globally see sustainability as a long-term growth priority. This is a conversation that CEOs, hiring managers, and directors are having right now, and they're looking at how they can evolve the skills within their business to align with their sustainable ambitions. This is my favourite stat. Over 25% of the full UK workforce report some green responsibilities attached to their role. For me, this screams opportunity. If over a quarter of all people working across the UK in any job in any sector have some sort of green responsibilities as a part of their role, then that's where new opportunities arise from. Because as their responsibilities rise and there's more green responsibilities touch their desks and touch their worlds, then they're going to be looking to create new role profiles for people to come into the sustainability space and accommodate some of those responsibilities. Sustainability is changing really, really quickly, and it's evolving with great pace. Even, only 4 or 5 years ago when I started working in sustainability, one of the common conversations I was having was about making sure that marketing teams are communicating a message right, or that the right bins are used in canteens. But actually now we're seeing an opportunity for hardcore data analytics and AI professionals to engineer these platforms that are allowing immediate updates in terms of your carbon footprint, and sort of accommodating technology all the way through that journey towards net zero. We're seeing loads of startups be created and successful in the space, and so the skills required for the new look of sustainability can be much more technical, much more data driven. I've included a couple of examples here, just because I think they're not always the opportunities that people think about when they think about sustainability. But actually, AI is playing a massive role in decarbonising a lot of sectors, and software engineering is one of the most common jobs that I've resourced for over the last 6 to 8 months, and they're building these innovation-led platforms that are really desirable by decision makers on that journey to a more green economy. I wanted to touch on data. Now, when I say the word data, I just mean information, and it's used to make decisions across the board. And in the sustainability space, I really believe it is a data problem, and data underpins the complete transition towards net zero. Here's some examples of jobs that are very much driven completely nearly by data, but they're using that data to have a real positive impact on the planet and on our world. I'll share these slides with you afterwards as well. So if I am moving a little bit quickly, as a bit cautious of taking up too much time, then I'm more than happy to share these with you as well. In terms of some of the green jobs that are available, and I think we've touched some of these already, but in terms of sort of visualizing what those careers might be and what jobs are out there, I've included a few examples here. Of course, there's much, much more to the conversation than this, but a few sort of key standouts of the quickest growing jobs available at the moment might be things like this: the renewable energy engineer, where you're designing and managing these clean energy systems and working out innovative ways to get this clean energy back onto the grid and distribute it around the country. I've also included some salaries on here as well. Sustainability consultants are playing a real key role in partnering with sort of blue chip organizations and household name brands to play a really key role in helping them decarbonize and put sustainability at the front of everything they do. Ecology and carbon is two of the most interesting spaces to work in at the moment, and we're seeing carbon analysts growing rapidly, and being responsible for things if they go wrong, but also finding ways to utilize data to make good choices across the business. I think for me, the key takeaway today is soft skills. This is a conversation I have with candidates every single day. Your soft skills are your selling points or your cheat codes in the green jobs market. Whatever you've done before, from the studying that you've done, from any other jobs that you've done in any sector, you will have acquired a toolkit of soft skills, which I think are what we need to be leveraging in conversations with hiring managers. I speak to lots of hiring managers that talk about the technical element of a job is teachable, right? You know, we can teach someone about the sustainability frameworks they need to be aware of, and how to utilize certain tools to reach their goals. But actually, soft skills are more difficult to teach, and these are accumulated quite naturally throughout the journey and throughout your career and transferable into lots of different sectors. I've included some examples here of soft skills that are particularly in need within the sustainability space at the moment. And all of you, I'm sure, could think about times when you've had to show adaptability, or you've been able to utilize creativity in something that you've done, or solve problems, or communicate properly. That might be at college or in your apprentices, or anywhere from what you've done previously. But these are all required by the sustainability space. So if you're thinking, you know, sustainability seems like it's evolving really quickly and it's brand new to me and I don't know, you know, exactly where we are in terms of that conversation, but actually you're already fairly well equipped to explore this as a sector, and important to have a think about case studies where you've utilized these soft skills to be able to bring that into your conversations with hiring managers and the people that are holding these interviews. I'm going to quickly go over a few tips and tricks when it comes to applying for jobs, whether this is useful now or in the future. These are some of the insights I've pulled from companies that I've worked with. I think to sort of briefly touch on these points on this slide, employers are not looking for someone that ticks every box. I think it's really easy to feel unempowered to apply for something, when you feel like you don't tick every single box. You might see there's already 100 applicants for a role, but actually generally we're looking for someone who ticks 60 to 80% of the skills on a job advert. They're all made in a really idyllic world, looking for something that often doesn't exist, and actually they want the right brain in their team, to fix their pain points and help them reach their goals. Every job advert is a pain point. It's in the interest of the employer to speak to you, to hire you, and they're looking to fill these roles. Behind every advert is stress, sometimes urgency. It might be a loss of opportunity for the business. It might be that other people are overworked. It might be that they need some some different thoughts within the team, but it's in their interest to get your application. So I wanted to encourage you to get those applications in. Every process is positive. You know, when I was at the sort of start of my career in recruitment, for me, I wanted to share a room with people who knew much more than I did. I wanted to be in front of them and ask them questions and be really curious. And one of the sort of easiest ways to get there is potentially by booking in interviews. So whatever the outcome of those conversations, I think it's see it as an opportunity to share a room with a decision maker or a hiring manager or a line manager or someone who's further along the journey than you are. And if you're equipped with some good questions, then you'll leave with something valuable, whatever the outcome. I think it's also important to widen the net, you know, understand where you might want to be in the future. And it might be there's a few different routes you can take to get there, a few different jobs you can do to get you to the same destination. I know Becky's a really good person to speak to, about what your goals are and to then reverse engineer that through career options. So prepare your CV and your LinkedIn profile. I think this is really important. For me as a recruiter, I'm on LinkedIn a lot, which is really cliche, but so are a lot of these hiring managers. When you apply for a role on LinkedIn, initially the recruiter will probably have a LinkedIn recruiter license, which is a software tool that we use to filter through applications quickly. And that will start by presenting me with your LinkedIn bio, your most recent job title, and the description that you've given there. And that's going to be what I see before I open your CV. So make sure your LinkedIn profile, your CV is aligned for the job you want to receive. Talk about your soft skills, talk about your motivations on your CV or in your bio, and you're much more likely to be picked up from keyword searches and things like that. So definitely, you know, have a look at your own LinkedIn profile or your own CV and say, you know, am I happy that this represents me properly, and shares all of the things that I'm proud of, before submitting that for a role. You can also have open to work preferences on LinkedIn that we'll note in a minute, which will help you stand out to recruiters as well. We can also see if you're active on LinkedIn. We can see if we've got similar connections to you. We can see if you're applying to roles yourself, and it'll also pull some insights and back up some of the things on your profile from your CV if you sent that to a role as well. So important to use LinkedIn to its full advantage. Connect with people that are in your space. Connect with people that interest you. Comment on their pages. LinkedIn's going to reward you for putting that activity in. It's more likely to push your posts higher up other people's feeds, and get in front of more eyes, which is the goal here. Real relationships always win, and I think this is something I'd love to be a sort of key takeaway from my small bit of today. Getting an application boxes is great, but actually if you can send someone a message, introduce yourself to someone, bring that profile to life, get a conversation booked in, then you're always going to have a better chance of success within that application process. Bring your profile to life, and let them know who you are, your personality, your soft skills. You'll always be at an advantage. There's a few tools on here as well, and I'll share these with you afterwards, to help you sort of find who to speak to and how to get hold of them, and bring that profile to life. Coming to the end now, but a few extra steps in terms of getting noticed by recruiters, and boosting that sort of knowledge and thought leadership in the space. Absolutely get to networking events. There's lots of stuff that happens nearby in Suffolk, but also in London, which is a not a long journey away. We've recently exhibited at Innovation Zero, Big Data London, and Reset Connect, and it's hundreds and hundreds of people in the sustainability space who are excited about it and knowledgeable and passionate, who want to chat with you and they want to get to know people. So that can be a really good way of accelerating that part of your journey as well. Use LinkedIn to its full capacity and get those applications in to application inboxes. That's all from me. I hope that's useful, and sort of shared a little bit of insight onto some of the types of jobs that exist in sustainability and then how to find them. Feel free to drop me a message after this. Always happy to catch up in the future.
That's really great. Thank you, Jake. It's really great to have that first-hand insight to all the businesses looking for that green skills and how that's going to grow in the future. So really, really brilliant. Thank you so much for your time. So our final speaker today is Richard Carter, who opened today's webinar. So I'm going to pass back to Richard to share a bit of information about the importance of professional qualifications. So we've just got 5 minutes left. So I'll just pass back over to Richard.
I've taken the hint, Nina. Thank you. I'll speak really fast. So thank you. Here's where I left you. At the beginning of the evening, I said that you're going to hear about green jobs, people making the real hands-on difference, and green skills. Every career, every profession has got a requirement for some of those green skills now, and you've heard about that this evening, and it was great to see some of that data just now from Jake. As Mara and Becky pointed out, this is certainly a popular career choice. There's good money here. Salaries are increasing really rapidly as businesses are realizing that these skills are in demand. People want to make a real change in their working lives. Mara said that, Becky said that. And in fact, well over half of younger people are looking to take a role where they can make a difference. We're seeing a great deal of data coming through on that. But because everybody wants to do it, we're seeing the fastest things on Earth, cheetahs, aeroplanes, the speed of light, and people claiming to be an expert in environment, social, and governance. So how do you set yourself apart? How do you get the credibility on your CV, which Mara mentioned? Because sustainability is not just about being keen to recycle your yogurt pots. It's not just about going to buy an electric car. It's a big, complicated, confusing topic, and it covers all sorts of different topic areas, as you can see on this sort of fun slide that I've got here. So how do you set yourself apart? How do you show that you're the one who will be invited to an interview? You're the one worthy of that pay rise? Well, the answer is a professional qualification. You need to have some sort of qualification behind your name. You can't just say, I'm excited about it, I'm enthusiastic about it. I've read lots of stuff, I've watched some YouTube videos. You need a professional qualification behind you. For sort of entry-level stuff, especially if you're working on green skills, so this is a part of another role, perhaps you're working in finance or marketing or HR or engineering, maybe carbon literacy will do that. That's a specific focus on carbon emissions, greenhouse gas emissions and climate change. If you've got a slightly broader role, then one of the ICEP qualifications is the one that employers are looking for. That's a qualification from the Institute of Sustainability and Environmental Professionals. Probably the entry-level qualification there is the associate qualification. It's a 5-day course, gives you letters after your name, and it's probably the best overview of environmental management that I've ever seen. The bad news is that it would be me teaching that course if you do it at West Suffolk College. There are others specific to things like carbon accounting, carbon reporting, pathways to net zero, or a full practitioner standard. So why do you want this? It will give you global recognition of your knowledge and your training. ICEP has got tens of thousands of members and operates in over 125 countries around the world. So the ICEP endorsement tells employers around the world that you know what you're doing and you've attained the standard that's required. It proves not only that you've got knowledge, but you've got a practical capability as well. You understand that this is more than just theory, this is more than just academia. You've got immediate access to an enormous range of professionals. That's people working in sustainability and people connected to sustainability. And Jake made the point very, very strongly that networking counts. Being able to access the right people is a real leg up on this journey. And it will keep your knowledge current and accurate. Sustainability is fast moving. Not a day goes by when we don't get a new headline. And that's one of the reasons that I enjoy working in the space so much. Most of the job roles, most of the job adverts that you'll see require an ICEP qualification. So I'd absolutely encourage that to be the critical next step. I'm mindful it's 29 minutes past. Let me point you towards the Green Careers Hub. It's a fantastic resource. Jump onto that. There's facts and data about what green careers look like, what green skills are necessary, what the market looks like. There are some videos from people in the various professions that we've talked about this evening. And there are a lot of current job roles there as well. So it's past. I've timed that luckily rather well. So I'll say thank you very much and hand back to Nina.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much, Richard. So that brings us to the close of this webinar, if I can say it properly. So a big thank you to all of our speakers today and everyone who's attended. So we hope you found the session really insightful. And if you have any future further questions, I've just popped up some emails on the screen here. So please feel free to contact us. To make you aware, the recording will be shared with all attendees that have signed up to the session today, along with any responses to any questions that we haven't answered in the chat. So thank you again and have a good evening.